the mindset of people who just need to give their input, how they can and want to help us as a people grow. There's a way to redirect energy, and it starts with the mental. This is why you can speak with people like Russell, who's on YouTube, not YouTube, but Instagram quite frequently, talking about meditation. Meditation is fantastic because it is you spending time with you. And what we need to do as people is learn to tell ourselves the truth. And that's simple. But I feel that we have allowed the Willie Lynch syndrome, slavery, and a normal flow of things and enforcement to keep us content. I feel as though we are a nation of comfortable slaves. And people say that in the U.S. we have a bunch of things and we are looked upon in other countries. Some of us are dirtbags and some of us are adored. But the relationships are only getting worse. I believe we already outnumber the white population in the U.S. If not already, studies show that it will happen within the next 10 to 20 years. I can't recall where I got that information from, but it is out there. Again, check the source. It's out there. Please help yourself and use Google. You'll be surprised at how much information they hide. I mean, tell us. I'm being truthful because we are censored, whether you believe it or not. So some of the information that you want or need, they charge us for. I have a problem with the way the useful information has to be paid for, whether that be New York Times or the Washington Post, scholarly articles, you name it. If it is useful information, most times it costs. And the universities are getting rich off the cost. So let's get into the nitty gritty here. The Ink Dot Productions Genuine Care Project goal is love. The goal is love. Unity amongst our people. Dreamers reminds me of Dr. King. He had a dream, and his dream is still one that should be shouted loud. I just think that King used the church as grounds to keep himself underground. But I think we can use the church for that today. I just don't think we need to follow religion the way that we do. Anyone within earshot, hood, what have you, Google church, and usually within a 5 mile radius, there will be 10 to 40 churches, depending on your location. Church is a business. Is there some stability behind some religion? Mentally, yes. But all we know of religion is what people have told us over time. from what they think they got from it and from what they've read. This reminds me of the idea that I have about people. We're like, if I think about a class that I had in CPCC, Central Piedmont Community College. Uh, it was a geography class. But anyway, they just talked about how they study, how they can tell the age or time by the rock sediment. If you cut the rock sediment, you can see layers of rocks in the different stages or aging within them, right? So really, if you think about us, we are layered as individuals, and what we learn in a process or level or time and what we learn it in dictates or gives us how we are as people. So the experience that goes with the learning brings us to who we are today. Now, how much of some of our actual lives we want to face is a whole nother story. I have things that are very close to me that I'm still trying to find the balls to say, but I will eventually, I guess. So, I guess let's move forward. Big ups to uh, Dave Chappelle, D.L. Hughley, back to the different forms of media that we have accessible to us in the different genres in which information is flowed. Uh, Podcasts, news, uh, what are we spending our time doing? I guess is a question that I have, right? I think I'm probably the biggest, laziest hypocrite in the world because really all I have is sincere expression of a word that I feel needs to be put out. But that's just it. It's not just my word. This is the words of the people that's come before me. I think about history a lot, where in the same time frame, give or take, a few years, there were people who we view as leaders. Three big names come to mind in two separate time frames, right? So you take W.E.B. Du Bois, Booker T. Washington, and Marcus Garvey. They all had a different message, but the same message, right? So most people we can agree that there is a problem, but how to resolve that problem is where we differ in our way to approach. This is who's the leader, Who's the alpha dog? The Ink Dot Project or Ink Dot Productions Genuine Care Project doesn't have an alpha dog. I am a face to deliver a message. If you have had a chance by now to look up the Genuine Care Project, Ink Dot Production page on Facebook, I think it's probably Jason Smith or, like I said, Ink Dot Productions on Instagram. I actually have a mission statement. The goal for us is not to, us, yeah, as people, not to chase money, because this isn't about money. It's about allowing a space for us to flourish. It's about sharing your space, which is one of the key components, is to fight the current unjust system. Big ups to Immortal Technique and Dead Prez. All of these people who I'm naming, if you look them up, you will see that they are a different genre of something that you might believe or think or feel or have thought of. My thing is, if most of us know what the problem is, why can't we fix it? Why won't we fix it? All right, so I just came up with an idea. Um, to make this go live eventually, what I'm going to do is first I'm going to post this and on different media sites, I guess, and get a consensus of how and where to start. I am asking for help, soliciting free help, because you feel as though this is worth fighting for, right? Computer designers, computer whizzes. We need to build a database where we control the information and we send people out to report back what we need to know as individuals to make things better for us as a whole. They've already set up infrastructure. I believe our highest paid athletes, again, today's the Super Bowl. If you agree with how the combine is a exact replica of how they paraded black people around, Africans around after they got off the boat, how they auctioned them off and let them show how strong they are. It is very entertaining. It's interesting. Shout outs to Will Smith for what he did with the movie on CTE and concussions. It's because we all are trying to get out of the hood or trying to get somebody's attention. Again, we all vying for attention or money so that we can, um, you know, live the American dream. Which, how can you love a place that doesn't love you back? I've been speaking with people over the years and telling them about this book. Initially, it started being called A Man's Mind on Pages, and over the years, it's changed topics so many times. And I think the reason why it's changed because I've changed. We all change. We change every day. It's just sometimes we're afraid to tell people how or where we changed at. We, as a people, need to learn how to communicate better, in my opinion. We need to not be afraid of how we feel or what we're thinking, because someone's going to think we're crazy or it might offend someone. Now, yes, there is a level of disrespect, and I'm quite sure many people feel that I'm an asshole. I think I've said that 3 or 4 times already. But anyway, it's not about necessarily me being an asshole, it's whether or not you agree with some of the things that I'm saying. Oh, so the ideas, right? So initially, I'm going to eventually post, I guess, this. Hopefully, it's gotten enough feedback or enough attention, and then I will start going live to answer live questions to see if there's ways to actually get some of these ideas uh, actually moving or flowing, right? Um, Hell, if I had my way, I would have a meeting with some of the biggest ballers in black business right now. It would be, I would call out Jay-Z, Puff Daddy, Oprah, Tyler Perry. I mean, you name it. If you have over $1 million and you think you balling, all I'm asking for is an opportunity to speak with you. Period. I would like to do it collectively. This way, everyone's true concerns, and that's what I was thinking about earlier when I said anybody with power, right? Anybody who believes they have influence should be involved in the decision makings on this, right? Tell us what you think the problem is, and most of us will come up with it would just never happen. But the question is why? It's because people won't change. So why not? And it's because we don't have an opportunity for change. And I think that even just the sheer numbers, right? If we said, I don't know, the top paid people spent 5% of their uh, current wealth, what could we do? Who could we relieve? Could we actually make peace by making those people who are discomfortable comfortable, or whatever's causing their strife, fix it? If there is a mental illness, somebody can talk to somebody. If we started to feed each other, I mean, use the available land that we have accessible to us to plant anywhere and everywhere we could. Sort of like create the Garden of Eden. Seriously, no bullshit. Like fruits, trees, berries everywhere, just planted so that there's no vying for food. When I think about the history of how meat became a popular thing to eat, I can only think about it being given to us by Caucasians. And the only reason I say that is because, yes, there is a history, the book Sapien. Let me get the author's name real quick. And that probably took me off topic. Um, yep, it did. That's my brain. Anyway, it gives a short history of mankind. But the point is, the individuals in colder regions would have to kill a secondary form of food that became popular because they were unable to grow during certain times of the year. And if you think about where the original people are from, it was usually warmer, and we were able to uh, grow foods. There was a great shift or change in right around the 1200s, 1300s, 1400s that kind of sculpts how we are today. And again, check the source, please. Um, but I don't know all of the details just because I don't really care about all of the details. Or should I care? No, I just know that there's nooks and crannies there that lead to how and where we are today. Um, oh, I was thinking about colonization, right? Uh, Wars have been fought for years over land and resources, right? And with a growing population as we have it today, it's quite amazing that we have this many people on this earth. And many people feel confined by their uh, nationalization, by where they claim, to be. I believe if we all melted in, we would be a greater people. Uh, Peace is among us if we actually integrate it, allow every space available to fill up, and say start anew. I don't know if that can be a city, start as a city thing, a neighborhood thing, or then a county thing, a regional thing, a state thing, country thing, world thing, right? But my opinion, somebody needs to start somewhere. Good old high quality H2O.